Hey guys, how you doing? I'm going to read you all the Silk Road article and questions. So just follow along as I read this. It says the Silk Road was not actually a road. It was not paved. It was not even a single route. The Silk Road was a name given to any route that led across China to Rome. It was a 4,000-mile trip. At one end was China, at the other end was Rome. Each had something the other wanted. Rome had gold and silver and precious gems. China had silk, porcelain, spices, and ivory. Ideas also traveled along the Silk Road, ideas that affected everyone. The Romans were not surprised to hear of another great civilization hidden over the mountains. They had been looking for the silk people for a long time. The Romans discovered pieces of silk from some of the people they had conquered. Silk quickly became popular in Rome, but it was scarce. The Romans wanted more silk, but they did not know who was making the wonderful material. The Romans tried to find the traders as they came into the towns and villages, but the traders hid from the Roman soldiers. They knew they had nothing to tell them. They did not know who was making the silk. They only traded for the silk. They traveled a short way along the Silk Road and traded with the people they found. In frustration, the Romans sent out parties of soldiers to follow the Silk Road and find the source, the people who were making the silk. Most of the soldiers never returned. Those who did reported they could not find a way through the desert. They had to turn back. It was incredibly dangerous to travel along the Silk Road. You faced desolate, white, hot sand dunes in the desert, forbidden mountains, brutal winds, and poisonous snakes. There was one nice section called the Gansu Corridor, a relatively fertile strip that ran along the base of one of the mountains. To reach this strip, you had to cross the desert of the mountains. And of course, there were always bandits and pirates. Even the traders did not make the whole trip. They worked in relays. Each trader would go a certain distance, exchange their goods for other goods, and hopefully return. The next would move along the road, trade, and hopefully return. There were three main routes, and all were dangerous. Northern route, which was westward to the Black Sea, central route, which was westward to Persia, Mediterranean Sea, and Rome, and southern route, westward to Iran and India. The Silk Road took caravans to the farthest extent of the Han Empire. Sections of the Great Wall were built along the northern side of the Gansu corridor to try and prevent bandits from the north from harming the trade. Over the centuries, the Silk Road developed a civilization of its own. Where possible, the Silk Road became lined with huge temples and blooming cities. It became far easier to travel that road, but it was never easy. There were still vast stretches of deserts and mountains to cross with no city or water in sight. Okay, so now you're going to answer the questions based on what we just read. So I'm going to read each question to you. The directions are, it says use the reading, answer the following questions in complete sentences. Question 1. What were the two ends of the Silk Road? Question 2. What did China have that people wanted? Question 3. How did the Romans discover the Silk Road? Question 4. What kind of dangers would you face traveling alongside the Silk Road? Question 5. What was the Gansu Corridor and why was this area dangerous? Question 6. Why did traders use relays? Question 7. What were the three routes and where did they lead? Question 8. Why did the Silk Road get safer over time? Question 9. Why did people risk traveling on the Silk Road? Question 10. On the back of your paper, write a paragraph describing the Silk Road. Consider the following. Who did the trading? What sort of things were traded and why did it matter or why was it important? I hope this all helps you to be able to answer and do this assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know.